morning, Golden K. Good morning. You all look older. Except me. Okay, Happy New Year to you. Okay, we're going to open here with God Bless America, Pledge of Allegiance, and our pledge, and with Ron Black, and we're going to have Larry Wade on piano.
Good morning. We're glad that you're here this morning, and if you're joining us online, you can join us too. Let's sing it from the heart, shall we?
Shall we become an attitude of prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today as members of the Golden K Kiwanis, we thank you for the opportunity to come together in service to our community and to the children we strive to help. We ask for your guidance and wisdom as we discuss our plans and initiatives. May our hearts be filled with compassion and our minds with clarity, enabling us to make decisions that reflect our commitment and the betterment of our community. We ask this in your name. Amen. Amen.
Quick announcement. The coffee machine is fixed and there's coffee available. Good morning, Golden K. I'm happy this morning to introduce Tanya Melendez from the Good Samaritan Inn as our guest speaker. Tanya is originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan, and currently resides in Decatur, Illinois with her husband. She earned a Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics from Northern Illinois University, an Associate's of Applied Science in Health and Wellness Promotion from the College of Lake County, and a Master of Jurisprudence in Food Law from Michigan State University. Tanya has extensive volunteer experience, including serving with the Peace Corps in Kyrgyzstan. Did I say that right? And she and I both have Peace Corps experience in common. We've talked about that. And she spent 10 years working in regulatory affairs. Over the past year, Tanya has served as Executive Director of the Good Samaritan Inn, where she is leveraging her expertise in nutrition, health, and wellness to advance the organization's mission. Let's give Tanya Melendez a big Golden K welcome.
Thank you all so much for having me here this morning. It is a pleasure to be here and to continue to share our work and what we are doing with all of you. So one of my primary objectives as executive director of Good Samaritan Inn is to work through who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where we want to go. And so this very first slide here summarizes basically my vision of Good Samaritan Inn. So the Good Samaritan Inn, we promote food security by identifying and eliminating barriers to food access. So basically, when our neighbors have reliable access to adequate, safe, and culturally acceptable food, they are empowered to focus on education, employment, and building a more resilient and prosperous community. Food secure individuals experience better health outcomes, increased stability, and improved opportunities for personal and professional growth, which in turn strengthens the entire community. We have 3 primary programs that work in tandem. We have our noon meal program, we have our Mercy Gardens, and we have our Mercy Market. Our noon meal, we are the only soup kitchen in Decatur serving a noon meal. For our urban gardens, we utilize urban agriculture to provide fresh, locally grown produce to our community. And then our market provides an outlet for the produce that we grow in our gardens. But one of the other benefits that we bring is we accept both SNAP and WIC benefits. And through one of our partnerships, we are actually able to provide a double match. So for every dollar in benefits these individuals spend, they get $2 to spend at the market. So why is this important? Why are we here? Why are we doing this? Approximately 26% of Macon County families are classified as ALICE families, and some of you may have heard that term. It is from the United Way. It means Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. So basically those individuals who are working paycheck to paycheck. They make more than the allowable amount for federal subsidies, but they do not make enough to make ends meet. Poverty. 19% of Decatur residents live at or below the poverty level. 13.7% of Macon County residents are food insecure. They go to bed hungry. And approximately 8% of Decatur households do not have a vehicle and live more than a half a mile from the nearest grocery store. So this is why we do what we do every single day. So our noon meal, we serve 365 days a year. Since we opened in 1982, we have served over 2 million meals. And just last year alone, we served over 77,000 meals. That number has grown significantly since 2023. From 2023 to 2024, we saw a 29% increase in the number of people we serve. And so to put that into perspective, our previous baseline was right around 50 to 55,000 meals annually. Our new baseline is now 75, 77. So our gardens, one of the most exciting things that we have happening right now is last year alone, we were able to harvest over 84,000 servings of produce that we were able to provide to the community. Over 8,000 servings of that produce we donated. So we have partnerships with Catholic Charities, Salvation Army, Northeast Community Fund to provide this produce at no charge to them. And then, of course, the city of Decatur generously donated 5 additional acres of land that enables us to expand our gardens. So just to put this into perspective, that 84,000 is what we were able to harvest on approximately an additional 2 acres of land. So we still have about 3 acres of undeveloped land that we still have the ability to plant on. When all 5 acres are fully operational, we expect to be able to serve over 200,000 servings of produce back to our community. So a little bit about us and how we are funded. As many of you may have heard, either through a letter in the mail or possibly on WAND or Herald and Review, we do have a shortage of funding in current state, but this does give you a breakdown of where our current funding primarily comes from. I believe that number is 49%. It's kind of cut off. I do believe it's 49 though, come from corporations, foundations, and other types of grants. Approximately 32% come from donations from individuals. We have historically needed to take about 10% of our funding from our savings every year. And through fundraising, sponsorships, and interest, that was right around 3%. And then about 1% of our income comes from the sales of our, from our Mercy Market. So, our 4-year vision, where do I see Good Samaritan in the future, and how are we going to get there? So, our budget. In order to make all 5 acres fully operational, in order to sustain the proposed growth within our new meal, right? So we've already seen a 29% increase. We do anticipate that number increasing. Over the next 4 years, we are projecting a full, an annual operating budget of $1.2 million. This is coming from, we expect that we will be at around over 100,000 meals annually, just based off of history as well as the current administration. Unfortunately, in 2023, that 29% increase came at the time when the previous administration cut SNAP benefits back to pre-COVID levels. That was the reason for the increase. So now with the proposed cuts to SNAP and the additional requirements, we do expect to see a continued increase. With our Mercy Gardens, like I said, in current state, we are planning on about 2 of the 5 acres that we have received. In order to plant on the full 5 acres of land, we will need to hire additional personnel to manage and maintain and plant and harvest. And then for our Mercy Market, we have already seen a benefit from the market that we have created. And so just this past year, we have started a winter market. And so we also want to have an additional market location at our garden site to invite community members on site to look at our garden. But then also, right, see where their food is being grown and how it's being grown and how it's being maintained. And so, again, just increasing community access to healthy, nutritious food. So how are we going to get here, right? As you all know, we are already facing a funding struggle, and that's just to get us to our current operating budget of $164,000. So how on earth are we going to be able to get to 1.2 million? Well, first step is partnering with professionals who know the industry. So we have hired a grant writer, and we have also hired an accounting consultant. One of the things about grants is that they have very specific reporting requirements and generally very specific application processes. And so working with them to understand what we need in order to be a competitive applicant. Second of all, we need to establish organizational goals and objectives, right? This is a very great start, what I have come up with, but it still is not a long-term plan for the organization. We need to create an electronic reporting system. So again, going back to the funding requirements, we need to be able to have the data and the reports that we can send to funders, that we can provide to stakeholders. As John stated, I worked 10 years in regulatory prior to this particular role. And in that role, I learned just how important reliable data is, but also how to communicate it in an effective manner. I have built, implemented, and maintained 3 databases. The problem is, if I were to create the systems that we need, that is not sustainable for the organization. It would mean that if I were to leave, something were to happen, there would not be anybody in place, there would not be any systems in place in order to maintain those systems, which is why we need an outside party to manage it. Intermediate goals. So, first goal, building systems. Second goal, applying for funding. Third goal, okay, now we need to engage the community. This is both through our patrons as well as the community, right? This 5 acres of land is one 5-acre parcel in the middle of the Old King's Orchard neighborhood. So if we want the gardens to succeed, we need to be able to create channels of communication for the community so that they have a means of providing their feedback and providing their input so that we know what they need, what they want, and if they have questions or concerns, we can work on addressing them. And then yes, going back to the reporting system, we need to be able to populate it with both old data as well as new data. And develop key stakeholder metrics, right? So as we are gathering this information from community, from donors, just from funders in general, being able to track what is important and be able to measure it. So long term, from 3 years on at this point, making program improvements. What's working? What's not working? What can we improve upon? What needs to be expanded? What do we need to stop doing? Because ultimately, our long-term goal, if you remember at the very beginning, is my vision is to promote food security. So that is ultimately our long-term vision. So what does improved food security look like? Which ties back into what are our organizational goals and objectives. And so just continually provide the data and the information to our community, to our stakeholders, so that we can continue to serve for another 40, 50, 60 years. And then just data sources. Thank you. I would love to answer any questions that you guys have. If there are any questions, I know I threw a lot. Yes, Paula?
I'm intrigued by the garden project that you're alluding to.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm intrigued by the gardens that you've established. And I know that you advertise for volunteers for serving the daily meals and so forth. I haven't seen much, and I wonder if that's a way the community could help in reducing costs, is to get volunteers in. So many of us love to garden, and I would think that would be an excellent opportunity to tap into that channel in the community. So maybe you could talk a little bit about how you see volunteers working through that.
Sure. So we have historically reached out to volunteers for help. The primary issue that we run into is that if it's too hot, they don't want to come, they don't want to work because it is too hot. Well, the work still needs to be done. And so this is why we have needed to rely very heavily on paid workers, so that the work can still be finished even when working conditions are not favorable. One of the other concerns that has been brought to my attention is how did slavery start? And so using volunteer labor for the gardens, there are ethical concerns around it, because certainly it is not our intention to utilize labor in that way. And so that is something that I am personally very mindful of.
How responsive have any of the local or state or federal politicians been to the needs of organizations and programs over the years? Are there any who stand out as being extraordinarily negative or extraordinarily positive?
Sure. So in current state, and this goes back roughly about 3 or 4 years, historically there has been no state or federal funding for what we do, because our goal is to feed people. Our goal is to feed the community. And funders don't want to fund an idea. They want to fund change. And so if we want funding, we need to be able to communicate the change that we are making. I can tell you that as a result of our message to the community, I can tell you that these numbers are also not finalized. We have not had the opportunity to fully record all of the donations, but the community has really stepped up. We have raised $130,000 from the community specifically. Most of those being individuals, some being anonymous, so I don't know if they are corporations, I don't know if they are individuals, but we have raised $130,000 toward our goal of $410,000 so far.
About 50 or 60 years ago or so, excuse me, when I first moved to town, when you go east on William Street before you get to the lake, there used to be a big section there that was turned into a vegetable garden. And I had understood that it was either ADM or Staley that owned that land. Anyway, it was eventually all torn down and it's turned into prairie or weeds or whatever it is now. And I heard it was because of theft. Do you worry, is that a concern?
Great question. So, short answer, yes. So for any of you who drive through the Old Kings Orchard neighborhood, you will actually see large fences around both of the plots that we plant on to try and prevent theft. So while it does not prevent all theft, it does prevent the vast majority of it. And on the one area that is not fenced, we have actually made the decision to not plant on that area this year because that is the area that we did receive the most theft from. So the issue isn't so much the theft itself, it's that in order to receive funding, we need to be able to track numbers, right? So we need to be able to know how much we're planting, how much we're harvesting. And if things are stolen, those are numbers that we no longer have. And so that is the larger concern. Our initial goal is not to make money off of our gardens. Our primary goal is to feed our community. So it's not so much the theft, it's the fact that we don't have a means of tracking it. We will gladly give the produce away. We will gladly do it because that is our goal, that is our mission. But we do need tracking, and for that we do need to minimize theft. Yes.
for how long you've been doing the cold lunches? Is that a couple years?
The sack lunches do predate me, so I do not know the
Okay.
date that they started.
Okay, but I guess have you found that that has increased or decreased your overall costs by doing that? Or is that something that you have any data on or no? Because
Yeah.
I was surprised at how many people take the cold lunches when I've worked down there.
Yeah. So it depends on how you analyze cost, right? So if we look at just food expenses, just food inputs for both for the hot meal as well as our sack lunches are by far more expensive. But when you look at expenses as a whole, volunteers can put together sack lunches. It's an entirely different story when it comes to making a meal. Because we do need the licensed managers on site. And so from a food cost perspective, it basically, so we cap sack lunches at $75 a day because of the expense. So just food costs alone, it costs the same amount to make 225 hot meals as it does to make 75 sack lunches. So this is one of the things that we have considered cutting. It's just one of the reasons why we hesitate is because the majority of the people who eat our sack lunches either have an allergy to what was made, and so this still gives them a meal. In addition, we have a lot of individuals who are working and they don't have time to come in for a hot meal and sit down to eat when they're on their break. And so the sack lunch gives them the opportunity to come in, take a meal, go back to work.
I have a question. I noticed when you did your pyramid at
Yeah.
first thing,
Yeah.
the bottom of the pyramid
Yeah.
said 26% of people earn too much money, or earn.
Yep.
But they're above the poverty level,
Yeah.
but can't afford their basic needs.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
So how do they determine what the poverty level is if you're working?
So the federal minimum wage, right, so the minimum wage in Illinois is $15 an hour. The federal minimum wage, I believe it is $7.25. Please do not quote that number, but I do believe that that is the accurate number. And so the problem is that poverty wages have not increased at the same rate as inflation. And so because the federal government has not reestablished a new baseline for minimum wage, what is needed, we now have this gap. So yes, the $15 minimum wage increase in Illinois does help, but it still does not change the fact that there are individuals who are working and living paycheck to paycheck. And so if they have an emergency car expense, an emergency medical expense, if inflation increases and their wage doesn't, that is how they teeter on the line between asset limited, income constrained versus poverty.
Yeah, but from what I've read, Decatur has one of the lower cost of livings, at least in the state of Illinois, and maybe in the majority of the country. So that 26% if you get up in the northern part of the state, that could be up to 50%. Is that correct?
I cannot speak for the northern part of the state. These numbers are specific to Macon County and Decatur specifically, so this area. The data that I have, so I do believe the Alice data was from 2022. Poverty, that was just from the US Census, so that was 2024. Food insecurity was USDA, I believe that was 2023. no, the food desert was 2023. Food insecurity, I think, might have been 2024. So just to give you date ranges of the data.
A couple comments.
Yes.
One is, sack lunches started during COVID, because they couldn't let them come in, so they opened that window and started sack lunches so they could still provide the meals. And I can't remember how many years Golden K's volunteered there, but I don't think we've ever had any sack lunches left over, so that might tell the need that you're talking about. And another item is it not true that anybody can come to Good Samaritan Inn and have lunch?
Yep, that is correct. So we are a no questions asked facility. If you are hungry, we will serve you a meal, regardless of income, race, gender. If you are hungry, you will get a meal. And so this is something that we have operated, as far as I know, from the beginning of the Good Samaritan Inn. This is not something I am about to change, because again, my background in nutrition and dietetics, food is a fundamental need, right? Everybody needs to eat. This is not optional for people in order to survive, in order to sustain themselves and their families. And so we will need to look at what, not necessarily a modified approach, because we will always be a no questions asked facility, but we do need to start collecting some data from our patrons. So again, we have data that we can then report back to our funders on.
And historically, I'm talking about years ago, we used to see construction workers and others come in to eat with no questions asked, but my comment on that is, you can't judge a book by its cover, but you can also tell who you're working with, and you don't, or at least we don't see that population coming through quite as much as we used to. And lastly, this group has a wonderful group of people that volunteer, and I'd like everybody to raise their hand that's ever volunteered either for Golden K or your church or whatever at Good Samaritan Inn. So you have a lot of support right here. Thank you.
Two more quick questions, Joe.
So my question is, back on your gardening,
Yeah.
when you do your harvest and you take that, whatever you harvest to these different organizations, is there is it inspected? Is there a process you go through, or you just merely harvest it, take it, and whatever's good is good, and if there's some spoilage in there, that gets discarded? I was just curious.
Sure. So so keep in mind that our planting and harvesting is all done by hand. So much of the produce that would be bad or spoiled would not even make it into the collection bin, because it is all harvested by hand and is inspected at the time of harvest. We did actually receive a grant from the USDA for $350,000 for infrastructure costs associated to building out the gardens. And so one of the line items in that grant is a wash and pack station. So historically, it was harvested, basically put in crates. We have plastic crates that we put it in, and then that's how we transport it to the various locations. So now with this additional piece of equipment, we now will be able to harvest it, formally wash and pack it, and then ship it in that condition. So that is one of the things that will change, yes.
Just to expand a little bit on what Kyle's question was in your answer, one of the things that I noticed is if you are paid on a bi-weekly basis, there are going to be, this is for people who might go back and forth from being eligible to being ineligible. There are going to be 2 months a year that you get 2 paychecks. And so you are going to make more money in those months. And a lot of times that's enough to kick you off of subsidies. The other thing is like here at the holidays, there are people who will get overtime at this time of the year, or if they're, working in agriculture in the planting or harvesting season, they will get extra money. And if they are honest and report exactly what they did get, it knocks them on and off of the poverty level. And it's a lot easier to get knocked off of subsidies and help than it is to get back on it. Because you have to have a month of reporting that shows that your income has gone back down before you can reapply. So there are people who are on the kind of the fence of that. I think that it really affects them.
Thank you, Tanya, so much for your dedication and your hopeful message. You need to stay healthy to see all this through. We wish you well, and we wish our community well. We have a certificate of appreciation for you and a souvenir Golden Gate Kiwanis pen.
Okay, I'd like to say a few words about David McClade, who passed away on December 16th of last year. David was born on November 11th, 1936 in Decatur, the son of Joseph and Nellie McClade. He married Beverly June Blazer on June 17, 1956. David retired from Caterpillar Company in 1999 after 43 years of service. David was a member of the Mount Zion United Methodist Church and the Golden Gate Kiwanis. Beginning as a child, David was involved with the Salvation Army, where he began to play trumpet. Music and singing were large parts of his life. He enjoyed golfing and was an avid Chicago Cubs fan, attending spring training in Arizona for many years. David was a faithful, loving, kind, and giving husband and father. David joined Golden Gate Kiwanis on July 19, 2000. He participated in service projects over the years and presented with the Legion of Honor Award in 2025 after 25 years of volunteer service to children. David also served as the birthdays and anniversaries chairman until Kevin Cleary volunteered to take the position. His family said he loved the Golden Gate Kiwanis and loved doing projects and that helped children. He said when his time to pass came, he wanted to be wearing his Golden Gate Kiwanis badge, and he was, and he did. We do have a basket here that you can contribute. One of his memorials was to his church and also to Golden Gate Kiwanis. So we'll be passing a basket around each table there. Maybe it's already on the table now. I guess it started over here. So anyway, I wanted to make that announcement.
Good morning, all. How are your brains this morning? Flaky, huh? Okay. Well, I don't know, I've got a challenge for you this morning. start with the word, Gary? Okay. Stenopagophilus. And to help give you a few hints on this, first of all is not in the dinosaur family. So you can eliminate that. It is a practical word that you may, once you understand its meaning, may want to use. Let's let it go at that. Now we'll see what your thinking is about it.
Can you pronounce that again for us?
Yeah. Stenopagophilus. Yep.
Something to do with repetition?
That's a good try, but that's not it.
Stay on top of stuff.
Yes, sir. Well, that's not the answer, but that's a good try. So, yes.
Remain stationary for a certain period of time.
No, we're getting kind of further away here. I don't know. Yes, sir.
The virus that causes strep throat.
Oh, no, that would be, that would be a good name for that, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right, I think we're going to have to give it to you here.
Jerry.
Oh, okay.
You got it. Yeah, the Croatian recruit that's coming to Illinois next year.
All right, well, let's it's an excessive accumulation of fat in the buttock. So now you've got a practical word to use. Next time you so make note of that. All right. Okay.
Wait a minute. Are you suggesting that it's a bad thing?
No.
Purely descriptive.
Yeah, it's just a good word to use. All right. Okay, Linda, attendance today?
We have 46 members present today, 2 guests. Kevin Hale is here. He sponsors Marty Williams, and he turned in an application and a check today. And Paul Foster was here. He usually leaves about 10 o'clock to visit us again. Meals on Wheels, and he loves visiting us. And 1 speaker for a total of 49.
All right, very good. And health report, Kathy?
I don't have any updates on the health report.
Okay. Birthdays and anniversaries, Kevin?
We do have some. I can't believe it's another year. From January 11th through January 17th, birthdays. On the 13th Linda Thomas. Also on the 13th, Roberta Williams. On the 14th, Kyle Anderson. He'll be 72. On the 14th, Frank Siasco. He'll be 89. On the 16th, Joel Hawkinson. He'll be 74. Also on the 16th, E. Grant Bullock. He'll be 85. Let's sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God bless you. Happy birthday to you.
And we have one anniversary. On the 11th, Rich and Marge Wessel. It'll be 24 years. Let's sing.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary, God bless you. Happy anniversary to you.
And a Bob Hope quote. I don't feel old. I don't feel anything until noon, when it's my nap time.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Announcements this morning, Kathy.
Okay, wanted to let you know this Sunday is Carriage House Evening Meal, and I've got a sign-up sheet. I think I'm in pretty good shape, but just wanted to let you know that it was coming up, and it kind of snuck up on us, but it's just 1 week before the meeting before the meal. So that will be happening on 6 o'clock on Sunday. Thank you very much.
Okay. And Susan Ray.
Yes, good morning. First of all, our time to work at Good Samaritan Inn will be Tuesday, January 27th from 11 to 1. And there's a sign-up sheet over here, so please help us out there. Secondly, for trauma dolls, I'm going to wait until the weather gets a little bit better. Steve put the snow blower away, so mark your calendar. In 2 weeks, we're going to have a blizzard somewhere, I don't know where. But anyway, when the weather breaks, we'll get a work day at the Police Benevolent Hall again. But meanwhile, if you're interested, I brought in material if you want to draw the dolls on the material or cut out the dolls. And there's also a packet of dolls that are cut out that need to be sewn. Or if you have dolls that are sewn and you need stuffing, I have some in the car, so let me know. Thank you.
Okay, and Harold.
I just wanted to invite you all to come to see the Decatur Chorale sing on Saturday at 2 o'clock or Sunday at 2 o'clock for the John Seale School. And we've been practicing really hard, and we appreciate you coming and enjoying music.
Okay, thank you. All right. Wanted to talk a little bit about the survey this morning. We're going to be asking you to complete survey online. Beginning next Wednesday, it'll be available. And it'll be available for 2 weeks. We've added a couple questions to it. Well, okay, here's the link up here. But quite frankly, you don't need to worry about that, because we're going to send it to you in a couple different ways so that you get it and can just copy it and paste it. Because nobody expects you to write one of those things down. My gosh, be here until noon. But we did want to show you the couple of questions that we've added at the end, so that when you get there, if you saw the bulk of the questions the other day, that you won't be wondering where these came from. And let's see. So this is the new question 22. Below are some current fundraisers and asking you to indicate which ones that you have volunteered in. Okay, then the next question, about how many hours do you think you put in on those different projects? And then if there was a talk on AI, a possibility, would that be of interest to you? And then our final question, which we just moved further down the line. Now that you finished this, how are you feeling about it? Okay. And want you to be thinking about whether or not, because we want everybody to complete this. The more data we have, the better. I think you can understand, you know, if only half of you do it, when we look at the data, it's going to be really of almost no use to us. Because how can we make decisions about, you know, what we have at meetings and how we run the meetings and so forth and that kind of thing, if we've only had input from half of you. So please really think about making this a priority. And if you know that you're going to need some assistance in doing this, you know, because of, you know, your lack of comfort with computers and that kind of thing, which is fine. Don't, you know, don't be embarrassed about it. I mean, but let one of us know so that we're going to have a help session. We'll work you through it. And, you know, but we need to know you need help, okay? All right, so that's really important. Are there any questions about the survey that I can answer? No, it doesn't start today. Well, we're announcing it's the 7th, but it starts next week. It's not available until next week. Okay. All right. Okay, so we've got a guess who the Kiwanian is for you this morning. And let's see, this person, I'm going to start with their most annoying habit. According to this person's spouse, their most annoying habit is turning the TV on and then walking out of the room. All right. Their favorite vacation spot is the Western United States. Favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Favorite restaurant is the Garden. Most famous person that they have met is Barack Obama.
Is it Harold?
So, their most favorite food is roast beef dinner. The thing that drives them crazy that other people do are people who drive on their, right up on their bumper. Any guesses yet? Yep. Norm Jensen. both of you need to come up and dig in the prize box here. Okay, very good. All right, Tom, I think we're ready for you.
Okay, make a couple announcements here. Our board meeting's coming up on Monday, this coming Monday, May 12th. So we're back or January 12th, okay. Oh, boy, I wish summer was here. Okay, and we'll be talking about some pretty important things, the signature project, and club advisor, and the bylaws update. So pretty heavy subject, but needs to be done. So anyone's welcome, and we're ready for the happy jug. No, we're ready for the 50-50. I knew all this stuff last year.
We took in $50 today, so 25 to admin and 25 to the pot for a total of $53. Last digits 9015.
Looks like Joel.
Not me. Okay, Joel.
Three hearts. We do not have a winner.
Three hearts.
Missed it by that much.
Thank you for playing.
Sure. Thank you.
And is the queen in there?
All right.
I'm sure she is.
Happy
There
jug. She's happy. Yeah. And Tony Melendez.
Well, it's just a matter
I've
of
heard,
keeping myself
we heard
honest.
that you guys sang to us last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that, to celebrate our anniversary. It's 58. Boy, could I tell you some stories, which I will not do. Susan and I have hung in there. We never disagree on anything. Last disagreement we had was January the 7th of this year, about an hour and a half ago. We settled that amicably. Now, I'll tell you something about where we ran into each other. Susan was sitting across from me in the plant anatomy course. I believe that's where we met. And I fell under her influence. Now, go forward a whatever period of time. Now we're in an animal physiology course where I came to admire her ability in surgical operation on the patients we had in that class. She's an excellent operator. That's it. And we also have saved a lot of money in that time. So we're taking our total savings from our savings account and put it in the jug. $2.
I'm putting in $1. It's always good to make it to another birthday.
Super. Yeah.
I've got $1 for listening to Steve's wonderful lie.
That's all? Come on. There's got to be more happy people. You see that Illinois State game? Missed it by 1 point. Oh man, that was exciting. They both, I think, were equally talented.
I'm
Just didn't come out on top.
gonna fish in my pocket and get $1 because I had a lot of vacation with my grandkids this holidays and I'm still not sick. So I'll get it out.
But you got to be with your grandkids, that's good.
I don't want to hear a word from any of you. I'm happy for my Indiana Hoosiers. We're all Hoosiers this week, so put your hands together.
Yeah. Coming up Friday.
And I'd like to put $1 in the jar for Marty. He he's sponsoring me, and I'm very proud of that. So if I do anything wrong, hit him, don't hit me. Thank you.
Okay.
Tom,
Okay, Kathy.
$2. Welcome to our speaker, Tanya. Glad you're here.
Okay, Larry. Larry's happy.
I'm happy to announce that my son who's in the Air Force, Preston, is going to be home the 18th. He's living in Guam right now.
Very good, very good. Any more? Okay, thank you. Let's move on to our storyteller, Jerry Pelz.
Okay, there was this gentleman who was visually challenged, and he was in the park with his cane and his seeing-eye dog, and they sat down on a bench, and a guy comes up and sits down next to him. And his dog goes over, it was a male dog, goes over and lifts his leg and pees on the guy's boot. And this guy says, "Sir, did you realize that your dog just peed on me?" He said, "He did?" He said, "Yes, he did." He said, "Oh, come here, Fido." He comes over to him and he pets him and he reaches in his pocket and he gives him a treat. And so the dog goes back and the dog looks around, goes over and pees on the other guy's other boot. And he says, "I can't believe this." He said, "Your dog just peed on my other boot." He says, "Come here, Fido." He comes over and he pets him and he gives him another treat. He said, "Why are you encouraging this dog's behavior when he is, doing these horrible things?" He said, "Well, I'm just trying to figure out which is the setopodus posterior so I can kick him in it." Did I say that right?
Okay, well, next week, our speaker will be Josh Chamberlain, and he's the owner of Chamberlain Wealth Management, and he'll be talking about smart charitable giving. We are Golden K Kiwanis. We enjoy changing the world for the better by serving children and others. And we are adjourned.